Welcome to Let's Deep Dive, the podcast that delves into the most fascinating and confounding cold cases from history. Today we are traveling back in time to British India in the 1940s, to a city then known as Madras, now Chennai. This is the story of a poison pen, a brutal murder, a sensational trial, and two of the biggest stars of their time, all caught in a web of deceit, revenge, and a mystery that remains unsolved to this day. This is the story of the CN Lakshmikanthan murder case.
In the early 1940s, the film industry in the Madras Presidency was flourishing. At the center of this burgeoning celebrity culture was a man who wielded power not from a director's chair or in front of the camera, but from behind a typewriter. His name was CN Lakshmikanthan, and he was a journalist. But not just any journalist. Lakshmikanthan was a pioneer of what we now call yellow journalism or tabloid reporting. He ran a film weekly called Cinema Tutu and later Indu Nesan. His columns weren't about film reviews or box office numbers. They were about the scandalous, the salacious, and the private lives of the stars. He wrote about their love affairs, their secrets, and their bedroom scandals, and he was very, very good at it. His readers couldn't get enough. But while the public was entertained, the stars were terrified. Lakshmikanthan was known to use his magazines for blackmail and extortion. He would threaten to publish a damaging story about an actor or actress unless they paid him a hefty sum of money, and many of them paid. The journalist had a reputation for being a vile fellow, and he made a lot of powerful enemies. This brings us to two of the most famous men in the Tamil film industry at the time. M.K. Tyagaraja Bhagavathar, a superstar singer and actor, and N.S. Krishnan, a legendary comedian often referred to as the Charlie Chaplin of Tamil cinema. Both men were at the peak of their careers, immensely popular, and reportedly frequent targets of Lakshmikanthan's gossip and blackmail. The tension between the journalist and the film industry was palpable, and it eventually reached a boiling point.
In a move that escalated the feud, Bhagavathar, Krishnan and others approached the governor of Madras, Arthur Oswald James Hope. They submitted a memorandum pleading with him to revoke the magazine's license, arguing that it was a menace to public morals. The governor agreed, and the license for Cinema Tutu was cancelled. But Lakshmikanthan was undeterred. He simply started a new publication, Indu Nesan, and continued his scandalous reporting. The drama took a dark turn on October 19, 1944, when Lakshmikanthan was assaulted and stabbed in the neck. The injury wasn't serious and he quickly recovered. He went to the police and accused a man named Vadivelu, who had a personal grudge against him, of being the assailant. The police couldn't take up the case as it was non-cognizable, so Lakshmikanthan decided to file a complaint with the magistrate. And this is where our story gets to its shocking climax. On the morning of November 8, 1944, Lakshmikanthan was in Vepari, a neighborhood in Madras, returning home from meeting with his lawyer. He was in a hand-pulled rickshaw, a common mode of transport at that time. At around 10 a.m. on General Collins Road, a group of unknown assailants attacked him. One of them stabbed him deeply in the abdomen with a knife, while the other hacked him. Despite his severe injuries, Lakshmikanthan managed to get to a nearby police station. He was still conscious and, according to some reports, even gave the police details of the attack. He was then admitted to the General Hospital in Madras, but he never recovered. The next day, on November 9, 1944, CN Lakshmikanthan died from secondary shock caused by damage to his kidneys. The poison pen had met a violent end.
The murder of CN Lakshmikanthan sent shockwaves through the city. The police immediately launched an investigation, and within days, a series of arrests were made. The suspects included Vadivelu, the man Lakshmikanthan had previously accused of assault, along with a number of others. But the biggest bombshell came when police arrested the two titans of the film industry, M.K. Tyagaraja Bhagavathar and N.S. Krishnan.
along with director S.M. Sriramlu Naidu. The prosecution charged them all with conspiracy to murder. The theory was that the stars, tired of the constant blackmail and harassment, had hired the assailants to kill Lakshmikanthan. The stage was set for one of the most high-profile and sensational criminal trials in the history of British India. The trial began in 1945 at the Madras High Court. It was a jury trial, one of the last to be held there. The prosecution's case rested largely on the testimony of an approver, a man named Jayanandam, who claimed that he had seen MKT and NSK with the assailants and that they had urged the men to maintain extreme secrecy. The trial captivated the public. On one side was the prosecution, presenting its case based on circumstantial evidence and a questionable witness. On the other side were some of the most prominent lawyers of the day, arguing for the innocence of their famous clients. After a prolonged and dramatic trial, the jury reached a verdict. In a stunning decision that shocked the public and the film industry, they found M.K. Tyagaraja Bhagavathar and N.S. Krishnan guilty. The director, S.M. Sriramlu Naidu, was acquitted due to lack of evidence. The two actors were sentenced to transportation for life.
The conviction of two national icons was a monumental event. Bhagavatar and Krishnan were sent to prison, their lives and careers seemingly over. They appealed to the Madras High Court, but their appeals were dismissed. The duo, once a part of the glitzy world of cinema, now faced a grim future behind bars. But the story wasn't over. While they were serving their sentences, their legal team continued to fight. They lodged an appeal with the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council in London, which was the highest court of appeal for the British Empire. This was a long and arduous process, and the two men remained in jail for nearly 30 months, their fame and fortunes crumbling. Finally, in 1947, the Privy Council's decision came down. The council found flaws in the original trial. It determined that the conviction based on the uncorroborated testimony of a single approver could not be sustained. The case was sent back to the Madras High Court for a fresh appraisal. The Madras High Court subsequently acquitted both Bhagavatar and Krishnan. They were free, but for them, freedom came at a tremendous cost.
The years in jail had taken a heavy toll. M.K. Tyagaraja Bhagavatar, once a wealthy superstar, had lost almost everything. His morale was broken, and he was never able to regain his previous status in the film industry. He died in poverty in 1959. N.S. Krishnan, the comedian, was able to stage a comeback, but his career never reached the same heights. And the murder of CN Lakshmikanthan? The case remains officially unsolved. The men who actually stabbed him were never identified or brought to justice after the acquittal of the famous actors. The question of who killed Lakshmikanthan hangs in the air, a persistent shadow on one of the most compelling and tragic chapters in Indian legal and film history. The case serves as a powerful reminder of a time when the press held an immense and sometimes dangerous power, and when the line between celebrity and scandal could have lethal consequences. The mystery of the CN Lakshmikanthan murder case is a testament to the fact that sometimes, even with a trial, a verdict, and a prison sentence, the truth can remain a secret forever.
Thank you for joining us on the murder episode. Join us next time as we explore another fascinating cold case from the past.